This is ShadowQuant, Stocks, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Monday, May 4, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below 65,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, but the focus is shifting to equities. Tech ETFs are leading the pre-market rally, with QQQ up 0.96% and the technology sector soaring 1.49%. SPY is holding near its 5-day high at $720.65, and IWM is up 0.47%. The VIX is stable at 16.99, and the Fear and Greed Index is neutral at 62, no immediate panic. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, you called bullish on SPY to 720, and the actual price was 720.65. That's a win. Grid also got it right, calling SPY to 719.5. CIPHER didn't make a call. SPECTER, your bearish call on SPY to 715 was wrong, market went up. Apex, you called bullish on SPY to 720, and that's also a win. SPECTER, you're on a losing streak, so let's see if you can pivot. What's next for you?
I'm not pivoting, I'm watching for the pullback. QQQ is overbought and the VIX is not spiking. That's a warning sign. I'll stick with my bearish call until I see a real risk-off flow.
Pulse, what's your take on SPECTER move? You've been bullish on SPY, but SPECTER is now skeptical.
I'm not backing down. The market is in a low volatility regime, and SPY is near its 5-day high. The divergence between strong performance and neutral sentiment is interesting, but not a red flag. I still see a path higher.
Grid, you called bullish on SPY and got it right. What's your next move?
I'm sticking with the technicals. SPY is in a strong range and the volume is solid. I'll keep my eye on $724.87. That's the 5-day high. If it breaks, I'm in.
CIPHER, you didn't make a call last time. What's your take on the current setup?
I'm watching the flows. AOs and LSBR are surging, but that's more speculative. The real story is the earnings calendar. If Apple and MSFT beat expectations, it could fuel the tech rally.
Let's break down the market. The focus is on tech ETFs. QQQ up 0.96% at $674.15, and the technology sector up 1.49% at $161.87. SPY is at $720.65, near its 5-day high of $724.87. The broader indices are mixed. Diamonds is down 0.33%, and IWM is up 0.47%. The VIX is at 16.99, and the Fear and Greed Index is at 62, neutral. The yield curve remains stable at plus 0.51 pp. What's your read on the macro backdrop?
The macro is stable, but that doesn't mean the market is immune to a pullback. QQQ is overbought and the VIX isn't spiking. That's a warning signal. I'm watching for a retest of the 50-day moving average.
I disagree. The market is in a low volatility regime, and the technicals are strong. The divergence between strong performance and neutral sentiment is a sign that the market is building momentum. I don't see a reason to be bearish yet.
Let's start with QQQ. It's at $674.15, up 0.96%. Grid, what's your technical read on QQQ?
QQQ is approaching its 5-day high of $675.97, and the volume is in line. If it breaks above that level, I expect a move towards $676.50, but I'm watching for a retest of the $674.15 level. That's a key support. If it holds, the bullish case strengthens.
I'm seeing strong institutional flows into QQQ, especially from the tech sector. The earnings calendar is set to kick off with Apple, MSFT, and NVDA on May 5. If they beat expectations, that could fuel further momentum. But I'm also watching the volatility. The VIX is at 16.99, so there's no immediate risk-off pressure.
Moving on to the technology sector. It's at $161.87, up 1.49%. SPECTER, what's your take on the technical setup?
The technology sector is in an overbought zone. The 5-day high is at $162.35, and the price is right there. If it breaks above that, it could signal a continuation of the rally. But I'm not convinced. The VIX isn't spiking and the yield curve is still stable. I think a short-term pullback is likely.
I'm not buying the bearish read. The tech sector is showing strength, and the sentiment is neutral, not negative. The divergence between performance and sentiment is a sign that the rally could continue. I'm watching for a break above $162.35.
Let's talk about SPY. It's at $720.65, up 0.28%. Grid, your technical analysis on SPY.
SPY is near its 5-day high of $724.87. The 10-day range is $702.28 to $724.87, and it's at the upper 40% of that range. That's a sign of strength. If it holds above $720.65, I expect a move towards $724.87. But I'm also watching for a retest of the $718.66 level. That's a key support.
I'm seeing strong buying interest in SPY, especially from the broader market. The earnings calendar is set to begin with major names like Apple, MSFT, and NVDA. If they report strong results, that could fuel further momentum in SPY. But I'm also watching the flows. If there's a shift in positioning, that could change the story.
Let's discuss the sector rotation. Tech and communication services are leading, while energy and industrials are lagging. Grid, what's your take on the rotation?
The rotation is clear. Tech and communication services are outperforming. The sector ETFs like the technology sector and communication services are showing strong momentum. The energy sector is under pressure, with the energy sector down 1.34%. That's a sign that the market is shifting its focus away from traditional sectors and toward tech.
I agree with the rotation, but I'm not seeing the sentiment shift yet. The fear and greed index is at 62, and the VIX is at 16.99. That's a neutral read. The market is still in a low volatility regime, so I don't see a rush to risk on. But if the tech sector continues to outperform, that could change the sentiment.
SPECTER, you challenged Grid read on QQQ. Let's dig into that. What's your argument?
The problem is the overbought condition. QQQ is near its 5-day high and the VIX is not spiking. That's a warning sign. The technicals are strong, but the volatility isn't supporting the rally. If the VIX spikes, that could trigger a pullback. I'm not convinced the rally is sustainable.
I disagree. The volume is in line and the price is holding above the key support level. The VIX is at 16.99, which is low volatility, but that doesn't mean the market can't continue higher. If the price holds above $674.15, I expect a move towards $676.50. The technicals are strong, and the sentiment is neutral, not negative.
I think the key here is the divergence between performance and sentiment. The market is outperforming, but the sentiment is neutral. That's a sign that the rally could continue. I'm not seeing the risk-off flows, so I don't see a reason to be bearish. My 24-hour call, QQQ bullish, target $676.50 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bullish, target $676.50 by next session.
My 24-hour call, the technology sector bullish, target $162.35 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target $668.50 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bullish, target $677.50 by next session.
The consensus is leaning bullish on QQQ, with a target of $676.50 to $677.50. The debate is around the overbought condition and potential pullback. Watch for a retest of key support levels and the next earnings reports from major tech names. What to watch tomorrow? QQQ's ability to hold above $674.15 and the earnings calendar for Apple, MSFT, and NVDA. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Equities. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.